Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Orange County Department of Education Virtual College Fair. Thank you so much for joining us. We are really excited you're here. My name is Catherine, and I will be your facilitator for this session. Before we get started, we do have a few housekeeping items to note. First, your camera and microphone are off. You are muted and your video is off. The panelists can't see or hear you. If you have any questions at all, feel free to use the Q&A button towards the bottom of your screen to type in your questions to the presenters at any time. They are here, ready and available to answer your questions. This is one of many college presentations being offered, so feel free to check the schedule on the website for more. And lastly, this session is being recorded and will be available at strivescan.com/COSI. We are currently in session B2, East Coast. And this is the same order of presentation where my mouse is circling at the moment. So without further ado, I'll get out of the way and introduce our very first representative from Arcadia University, PA.
All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Devin Miller, and I'm a senior admissions counselor at Arcadia University. For those that aren't familiar with Arcadia University, we are located just outside the city of Philadelphia. So we are in Glenside, Pennsylvania, which is about a 20 to 25 minute train ride just north of Center City, Philadelphia. So we are located in the suburbs. You can see through some of the pictures throughout the presentation that we are on a very beautiful campus. We do have a castle on the hill, which is always a focal point of campus, but there's lots of green space. It's a little bit of a smaller, more tight-knit community, but it's a really nice kind of dual environment being in Glenside because we have that tighter knit suburban community feel with really easy access to the big city of Philadelphia. So you do kind of get those best of both worlds. Like I said, we are a little bit of a smaller school. We have just over 2,000 undergraduate students, which means that we're able to offer a really more personalized learning experience and personal attention for our students on campus. And that extends really all across campus, from in the classroom to extracurricular involvement to student life and campus life. We have more than 65 fields of study. So Arcadia is a liberal arts school. We don't have one specific focus. You'll be able to study a little bit of everything through your general curriculum and through your major or majors of choice. It's not uncommon for students to double major or select a major and a minor while on campus. Although our most popular majors right now are biology, business, and psychology, with really strong studio art programs coming up right behind that. We do have a few graduate programs that are pretty popular as well. So for students specifically interested in the sciences and the pre-healthcare fields, we have 4+2 programs in forensic science, physical therapy, and physician assistant, which are really popular for our students because they can get their either master's or doctorate degree within 6 years, depending on which program you're doing. And even though Arcadia is a little bit of a smaller institution, we do have a vibrant student life and campus life. There's a lot going on, both on and off campus in the surrounding area. You can see we have 26 Division III athletic teams. So if anyone's looking to play at the competitive level for athletics in college, we do have a lot of different offerings there. We also have about 60 different student organizations on campus. So if you are doing any clubs in high school, chances are we do have a counterpart, or you can always start your own organization. And we are a largely residential school. So we always want to make sure that there's things going on for students to do outside the classroom. And on the weekends, we always have different programming happening on campus, from comedians to musicians, movies, game nights. And we do guarantee housing for all 4 years as well. So there's always a spot for you on campus, should you choose to remain on campus. Like I said earlier, being so close to Philadelphia is a really great resource as well. So we also sponsor a lot of different programming and events into the city. If there's a museum exhibit or a show in Center City that we want to connect students with, we do our best to provide students with a lot of opportunities to get off campus as well, in addition to what's going on campus. One of the other things I always like to touch on during these is Arcadia's study abroad opportunities as well. For anyone who's thinking about study abroad or you're looking for an institution that has a little bit more of a global focus, Arcadia has been nationally recognized for our study abroad participation for the last decade, and we're really proud of our commitment to providing students with a more global perspective during their time in college. We offer a lot of different opportunities for students to get a study abroad experience. So anywhere from a short-term to a long-term experience, a week or two, or an entire semester, or even an academic year that students can spend abroad. And you can see on this slide that our class of 2020 earned credit from 39 different countries. And the majority of our students do study abroad at least once before they graduate. So it's a pretty wide global footprint and a lot of different opportunities that students can do, including spending the spring break of your first year abroad through one of our programs that we offer really early on for students. And with the last couple of minutes of my time, I did just want to give an overview of our admissions process at Arcadia. We are enrolling admissions, so we don't have any really hard deadlines that students need to meet for admission. We're constantly reviewing applications all throughout the year, so you can apply at any time through either the Common App or the Coalition for college application. And then the only other pieces that we require our students to submit a high school transcript and a letter of recommendation, and we'll have a decision for you in about 2 to 3 weeks of when you apply. You also do have the option to submit an essay and a resume, as well as SAT or ACT scores. I always strongly encourage students to submit essays and resumes. They just give us a little bit more of a holistic approach to our application review when we can see some additional materials. But as for the SAT or ACT scores, I usually tell students you don't really need to worry about it unless you're performing exceptionally well, above a 1300 or so, or a 28 on the ACT. They're not really going to make a difference or an impact on your application. We'll never use SAT or ACT scores to hurt your application at all, though. So if you do submit them, really no harm or foul there. And then for anyone interested in art programs or our theater arts programs, we do require an additional step, which is the portfolio review or acting audition for those programs specifically. And we do automatically review students for scholarships when you apply. So there is a range of scholarships that we award, anywhere from about 10 to 30,000 that you can qualify for. And for those interested in those art and acting programs, you'll also be reviewed for additional scholarships based on your portfolio or your acting audition as well. And then we do also offer need-based financial aid once students are admitted to the institution. But as I'm running out of time, I do just want to pull up my contact information on this slide here. I will be your admissions counselor as you're applying to Arcadia, so definitely feel free to reach out to me at any point, and I'll drop that information in the chat as well. But I look forward to seeing your questions in the chat. Thanks, and have a great night.
Awesome, thank you. The next representative is from Binghamton University, NY.
Hello, so I am currently in the midst of travel season, so I'm not gonna put my camera on today, but I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen still, because I can do that on my phone. Okay, I think we're doing it. Can everyone see this?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay.
It's a little
Perfect.
small, but we can see it.
Okay, this is as big as my phone will go, but I can try and zoom in on the important things. So Binghamton University, we are the #1 public university in New York, sort of all those SUNY systems, kind of like the state school that you may be calling in from. We are that #1 in New York. If we look down here, we'll see Binghamton by the numbers. So Binghamton's about a 14,000 undergraduate population school. It's about 17,000 total with our graduate students involved. So it's on that little bit higher end, but it's still that nice mid-sized university. A little bit lower, you're going to see our academic profile. So those are mid 50% scores. So I do like to stress that these are not cutoffs. These are simply the mid 50%. So we accept both above and below these numbers. For all of our seniors out there, possibly our juniors for next year, we are SAT, ACT test optional for our seniors. That's 100% guarantee. For our juniors, I encourage you to make sure you stay updated on that. We are still deciding whether that's going to continue. We do recommend that if you don't fall within these scores, again, there's no real need to submit them. If you do fall within these scores, it's going to be one of the things we consider in that holistic approach. If you don't, it's just one of the things we don't. The other number that I want to point us over to is this 92% first year retention rate. So the national average you see is about 62%. So that tells you that just under half of the students that go on average to a given university don't come back for that second year. So the fact that Binghamton University has that 92% retention rate, which means that 92 92% of Binghamton students are going to come back for that second year is a really great number, and a number I suggest you looking at any school you go to, because that's going to tell you a lot. At this next page, the only thing I want to highlight is that our student to faculty ratio is 19:1. So even though we're at that 14,000 size, you're still going to have that nice, small, focused academics. How this works at Binghamton is we have 6 schools within Binghamton University. So they're all in Binghamton, New York. They're not kind of spread out over the country, but they are direct admit programs. So what that means is you're going to apply directly to the school that you want to be in. So if you want to do business, for example, you'd apply to our School of Management. If you want to do engineering, you'd apply to our School of Engineering. Human development, social work, education, that would be our College of Community and Public Affairs, and then nursing and health sciences would be our nursing school. Every other major, so think film, creative writing, any foreign language, pre-med, biology, philosophy, law, all that's going to be in our Harvard College of Arts and Sciences. It's about 60% of our student body, and all the schools kind of together have about a 40% acceptance rate overall. We do have pre-professional and accelerated degrees at Binghamton as well. So I think pre-health, pre-med, pre-law, pre-vet, pre-dental, pre-optometry, pre-education. So lots of ways to know if you want to go off to those things after you graduate from a given school, you'll be able to do that at Binghamton. Quickly on our costs. So our out-of-state cost is right about $45,000 for your total cost of attendance. So that's going to be tuition, fees, housing, meals, the whole thing. We do only offer merit scholarships to our out-of-state students. So we are a public university. So our goal is going to be try and get that number down as small as possible for you. So when you would apply to Binghamton, you'd automatically be considered for these out-of-state scholarships. You wouldn't have to reapply to anything. So that number, most likely between that and outside scholarships that you may bring in, will definitely go down. 2 things I want to point out here is one is research. So we are an R1 research university. So what that means is that every single professor and every single major is doing research at Binghamton. So it doesn't matter if you're a film student, an English student, a biochemistry student, a neuroscience student, you could have the opportunity to do research at Binghamton. We also, because we're part of that SUNY system, have over 1,000 different programs that you can go through between all of the SUNY schools. So here from SUNY Cortland later, you could do the same thing there. So it's really cool being part of that kind of SUNY network because you have a lot of resources that you might not find at other private institutions. We do have some honors programs. I encourage you to look at those online if you're more interested in those. They are all invite only. You can also find online some of our alumni, where those went. My favorite one to talk about is always Flo from Progressive, because I just think that's so fun. This is a quick picture of a nature preserve we have on campus. So it's actually 190 acres. There's a 6-acre pond. It's absolutely beautiful. So sometimes when people hear New York, they're like, oh my gosh, so you guys are in the city. So we're about 3 hours away from New York City. You're more going to see the pretty sights and sounds and more stuff that looks like this rather than the hustle and bustle of the city. The big number I want to focus on these next 2 pages is that 450 student-run clubs and organizations. So there's a million things you can be a part of, from culture and religious organizations to cheese club to astronomy club, pretty much anything you can imagine here at Binghamton. We are D1 sports. We have 38 club teams, so lots of ways to get involved. This is kind of how housing works. You'll be able to pick as a freshman both where you live all the way down to the bed you sleep in. So it's kind of like an airplane seat, and also make your schedule for your first year. So you have a lot of freedom when you would come to Binghamton. Again, you can find a lot more information on this. This is just kind of like a quick overview, but it's really cool. We're never going to pick those things for you. You're an adult, you've earned it. And yeah, so this a little bit sustainability we're kind of pushing at Binghamton. So we're installing some solar panels. And then last but not least, just location again. So if we look at this map, that's where you'll see us. It's of New York and Pennsylvania, about 3 hours from New York City and close to a lot of those major metropolitan areas. And definitely something where you're kind of get that city integration, but you'll definitely be very involved in Binghamton. And this is obviously way too small for any of you to read, but you'll see all of our majors here. You can find them all online. And that's a little bit about Binghamton.
Awesome. Thank you. So much great information. Just a friendly reminder that if anyone has any questions at all, to feel free to submit those using the Q&A button towards the bottom of your screen. Any questions at all about the college application process, or even a specific question for any of our reps, we encourage you to submit those questions, and everyone is here and available to assist. The next representative is from SUNY Cortland, New York.
Good evening, everyone. A pretty nice segue from Binghamton University. We are only about 45 minutes north of them, and we are also part of the SUNY system, which is the State University of New York. It is the largest university system in the nation with a total of 64 schools. So our overall size is going to be a little bit smaller than Binghamton. We have about 7,000 total students on our campus. Our average class size is going to be about 24, and our student to faculty ratio is 15:1. All of our classes are going to be taught by a professor themselves, with the assistance of a teacher's assistant, if they so choose. But you're never just going to have a TA teaching your class. You're always going to have that professor, and you're always going to get that one-on-one time with them throughout the course of your semester. Again, we are located right in central New York. We're about 45 minutes north of Binghamton. We're about 45 minutes south of Syracuse, kind of in this hour radius. There's going to be about 6 or 7 different colleges. So there's always college-themed events, research opportunities, intern opportunities, different concerts and sporting events all going on right in this area. We were ranked the #1 safest campus in the state of New York. Always something I like to mention. We do have the blue light system on campus. So anywhere on campus, you will be able to see a blue light, and that will connect you right with our university police department. We have a lot of different majors. We are a liberal arts school, so we have a lot of different majors in different areas. Some of those are going to be bolded. I know it's kind of hard to see on this slide. Some of our more popular right now are going to be all of our sciences, communication, musical theater, psychology, sports management, and then any of our pre-programs. So pre-med, pre-vet, pre-law. You can take classes outside of the major that you are in. I always like to mention this to students. So you can kind of create your own path through your major, kind of focusing on what you would like to do post-grad. We have a ton of different hands-on opportunities, internship opportunities on campus, off campus once you graduate. We did used to host the JETS training camp, so we have a really great partnership with the NFL. We have a lot of our students going into New York City or Washington, D.C., and we have a great partnership with Disney World, ABC Network, NBC, and a ton of other businesses that love to have our current students as interns and then hire on our graduates. We have a ton of clubs on campus. It only takes 3 students and 1 faculty member to create a club. There's always new clubs coming onto campus. We have a club for every single one of our majors. So there's always something to do, extracurricular activities within your major, get to know the students in your major. We have a student-run podcast, news broadcast, different dance opportunities. We have Greek life, sororities and fraternities, service sororities and fraternities as well. And then of course we have club sports as well. We are D3, and we have 25 varsity teams. We also have club sports and intramural opportunities. So depending on how interested you are in sports, there's always something for everyone. We do have 131 national championships across the board for a lot of our different sports. Something cool that I like to mention is that our Cortica game, which is our rival football game, last year was played at the Jets Stadium, and then this year is going to be played at the Yankee Stadium. So our football players get to play on a professional field, and all of our fans, our current students and alumni, get to see that in a really big way. The Student Life Center is one of our newer buildings on campus. I'll kind of let this video play behind us and kind of speak for ourselves. It's all things recreation. We have our newest dining hall in there, the Bistro, which has kind of around the world cuisine. So there's make your own pizza stations, stir fry, burger stations, a salad bar. They always have breakfast, brunch on the weekends, and it's really always changing. I do like to mention that there is a cookie warmer, so on your way out, you can always have a nice, warm, freshly baked cookie. And then on the other side of this facility, we have all of our fitness. So upstairs, we have an indoor track, we have a rock wall, we have a lap pool, a hot tub, we have open courts, we have a CrossFit gym, a cycling studio. We also have a gaming room. So we have pool tables, foosball, Wii, PlayStation, Xbox, anything gaming related. So all of our students are going to be in here on a daily basis doing whatever it is that they find as a passion. And we also have our recreational sports in here as well. So you can rent paddle boards, kayaks, skis, tents, bikes, really anything to get you outside. We are near a lot of different areas of nature, the Finger Lakes. We own Racket Lake, which is in the Adirondacks. So there's a lot of opportunities to kind of get out of the normal campus life and go into nature a little bit. As far as costs, I'd like to mention our Future New Yorker Award. This is an automatic award to all of our out-of-state students of $7,500. That's going to be per year, and that's automatic, just to bring our in-state and out-of-state costs closer together. So our out-of-state cost is going to be just under $25,000 per year, and then in your last 2 years, we'll give you an additional $2,000 onto that Future New Yorker scholarship. And that's what I have for you on SUNY Cortland. I will also put my information in the chat. If you have any questions, I am the out-of-state rep, and I'd be happy to hear from you.
Awesome, thank you. The next representative is from Pace University, New York. You're on mute.
Hello, everybody. My name is Juanita Maya. I am the Assistant Director of Undergraduate Admission on the New York City campus. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Pace University. So we say go-getters go to Pace, and we try to give you as many experiences through your 4 years at the university to help you achieve those dreams and those goals that you have while you're with us. So one of the ways that we do that is through the Pace Path, and it's this customized 4-year plan that you are going to start working on during your freshman year in your University 101 class. And it's essentially going to take all of the things that you see on your screen, whether that's doing 1, 2, 5 internships, participating in research opportunities, studying abroad, participating in international conferences, participating in our mentor and advisor program. So all of the things that you can do while you're with us throughout your 4 years to get you to that endpoint, that dream, that goal, and whether that's med school, law school, dream job, wherever it is that you want to be at the end of those 4 years. So one of the first important parts of the PACE path is making sure that we're getting those academics. And so we do have 6 different schools of study. We have the College of Health Professions that houses like our nursing program, health sciences, Dyson College of Arts and Sciences houses our performing arts, our natural sciences, criminal justice, psychology. Our Elizabeth Hobbs School of Law has our 3-in-3 program. Our Lubin School of Business houses our marketing, finance, management programs. Our School of Education houses early childhood, and adolescent education. And then our Seidenberg School of Computer Science and Information Systems houses our tech majors, information systems, computer science, IT, all of those fun majors. At the university, we do have one of the largest internship placement programs available for our students. Our students can actually start going through their internship process as early as their first semester of freshman year. So they do have to do a resume writing workshop and an interview skills workshop. Without those 2 things, they're not allowed onto the system. They want to make sure that the students are prepared, so they're going out and being successful on the interviews that they are doing. We have on average, the average PACE student does about 4 internships during their time at PACE, and a lot of students do more than that. On the screen, you're going to see a really fantastic statistic. It's 90% of PACE undergraduates are employed or continuing their education within 6 months of graduation. So this to me really speaks volumes because it's letting our students know that they are coming in, they're doing as much as they can while they're at the university, taking advantage of all of the opportunities, and they're going out there and they're being fruitful and getting the jobs that they want, or they're continuing their education. And this statistic is actually 20% above the national average. So it really shows the great things that our students are doing. We have 2 locations in New York. So we have one in downtown Manhattan. We're about a 5-10 minute walk from Wall Street. We have about 6,000 undergraduate students and about 3,000 graduate students on this campus. We have an average class size of about 20 and a student faculty ratio of 14:1. On this campus, we have 4 residence halls available for our students. You are welcome to reside on campus for all 4 years as long as you submit your housing deposit every year by May 1st. Switching gears, we do have a campus up in Westchester, New York, in beautiful Pleasantville. It is our more traditional college campus. It is spread over 200 acres of land. So we do have all of our Division II athletics up on this campus. So if you were thinking of playing a sport, this is the campus that you would want to be on. This campus has about 3,000 undergraduate students and about 1,000 graduate students, and we have 5 dormitories on this campus. For our application, we are looking for either the Common App or the PACE app. Either one, we have no preference. We're going to need your official high school transcripts or your GED diplomas, 2 letters of recommendation, and your personal statement. That should be roughly around 250 to 650 words. And then we are a test optional institution, but you are welcome to submit that SAT or ACT to us. Our average SAT is an 1150, and our average ACT is a 25, and our average GPA is a 3.3. On the screen, you're going to see some deadlines for this year. So the FAFSA opened October 1st. Our early decision binding deadline is November 1st. Our 2 early actions are early action 1, November 15th, and December 1st for early action 2. These are our non-binding. If you're interested in our performing arts program, that is December 15th. And this is a hard deadline. And then our February 15th is our regular decision and nursing deadlines. And you've gotten your decision, you're going to come to pay. So you make that deposit to guarantee your spot and your housing by May 1st. We do offer financial aid at the university, and so we do have merit scholarships available for our students. It is automatic consideration. They range anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000 a year, and it is yours for all 4 years as long as you maintain full-time status and whatever GPA is associated to that scholarship. It's so important that you file that FAFSA. We always like to say make sure you do that. This year, we're actually offering students an additional $1,000 if they do submit their FAFSA before December 1st to PACE. So it's just a little incentive to make sure that our students are filing that FAFSA. And last but not least, here is my contact information. So we have the contact information for the undergraduate admission office as well as myself. If you ever have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm here to help you. I'm your admission counselor, so we will be able to assist you in any way we can. And if you have any other questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. Thank you.
We really appreciate it. And as stated, just another friendly reminder that if you have any questions at all, to feel free to submit those in the Q&A. Any question at all, our representatives are here and available. And we also encourage you to include the school name. The next representative is from Bard College at Simmons Rock, Massachusetts.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Michelle Chavez, and I am the Director of Admissions and Enrollment here at Bard College at Simmons Rock, located in Great Barrington, Massachusetts. Just give me one. One second, I think I skipped ahead. So Simmons Rock is the first early college in the nation, and this is our founder, Elizabeth Blodgett. We were founded back in 1966, and the mission of the institution is that age shouldn't define your intellect and ability to pursue higher education at an earlier age. So if you are a motivated younger scholar, you don't have to wait until you complete high school to actually begin your bachelor's degree at Bard College at Simmons Rock. We offer students both an associate's and a bachelor's degree and dual degree programs, which I'll talk a little bit more about later in the presentation. But as I was going to get started, we are located in Great Barrington, Massachusetts, 2.5 hours away from New York City and downtown Boston. We've been named the best small town in America by Smithsonian Magazine. We're ranked number 5 for undergraduate teaching and number 4 for innovation by U.S. News and World Report. We have small class sizes. So as you see here, the average class size is 11. But as you get into your area of concentration, it could be about 6 students per professor in a classroom. And you see that number correctly. The total enrollment of our institution is 400 students. And that is because, as I mentioned earlier, we are an early college. And so many students self-select to begin college at the age of 16, 17, instead of waiting for the age of 18 as any other regular student. Bard College at Simmons Rock offers students the first 2 years of a liberal arts curriculum, which ensures that you are well-rounded on different subject areas, and yet allows you the opportunity and flexibility to explore different majors and concentrations. So we have about 35 programs or areas of study. And students can decide on their third year to study away or study abroad in one of our partner schools in the country or in the nation, internationally, excuse me. And then in our fourth year, students return to Simon's Rock and begin their thesis. Many of our students pursue a graduate degree after their time at Bard College at Simon's Rock because they're really well prepared to begin either master's or PhD level coursework. We do offer several internship opportunities, which I'll mention a little bit later in the presentation. We are really well known for our dual degree programs with both Columbia and Dartmouth for pre-engineering. So students will participate in 3-year programs at Bard College at Simon's Rock and then have preferred admissions into Columbia University and Dartmouth for some of their engineering tracks. We also have a really cool program with Vermont Law School where students can earn their bachelor's degree with Bard College at Simon's Rock for 3 years and then spend a year at Vermont Law to receive a master's. And then one of the really cool programs is also Upstate Medical, where students will take a 4-year BA degree with us in biology, pre-med, and then apply to Upstate Medical, no MCAT required to begin their medical degree. We have about 5 seats available every year for this program. And we also have a new program with Bard College, our sister school in Annandale, New York, with our Economics Institute, which also tends to be a very popular program. So one of the greatest things about our institution, as you noticed, was the enrollment size, a total of 400 students. This means that you really get a lot of personalized attention and personalized guidance and advising in areas of internship opportunities, research. So here are some of our notable alum, and you can see that we have everything from filmmakers to journalists to entrepreneurs to attorneys. So really it runs the gamut, and our Office of Career Development really works with each student to really tailor their own internship experience and opportunities. We are a residential campus, so students can live in our residence halls. We do also have many student clubs and organizations and affinity groups and areas of interest, so students can participate and have a thriving community life. We are also within walking distance of actually downtown Great Barrington, which is a thriving small city. It has theaters, movie theaters, restaurants, shops, very cute local boutiques. So even though you see behind me a 275-acre campus, right, 20 minutes of walk, you'll be right in downtown with a thriving little hustling city. We are also an athletic school, so we're non-competitive, and that means the students get to walk on to their different athletic teams. We offer basketball, swimming, soccer, you name it, and we have it. And so, like I mentioned, it's not competitive. You can definitely walk on. We also have many campus events and activities. We're getting ready for Halloween and prepping our haunted house on campus. We're all really excited for that. We also have prom, movie nights outside, pumpkin decorating. So any activities that you like to see, we host them. And then we have a really great wellness program. So our counseling services provide students unlimited counseling, which is very fantastic. And we have campus safety 365 days, 7 days a week. We are part of the Common Application. There is no fee to apply to our school. You're more than welcome to do so. Here are our different requirements, so I won't go over those. We do offer merit and need-based aid. And here is my contact information. Please feel free to reach out with any questions. Thank you so much for your time.
So much great information. Thank you. Our last representative, but certainly not least, is from St. John's University, New York.
Good afternoon. Give me 1 second. Share screen. All right. All right, computer. There we go. It's a little slow. Sorry, guys. So, welcome. My name is Anthony. This is the presentation for St. John's. If you aren't familiar with St. John's, we are located in New York City. We have a couple campuses. This is a little picture of our Queens campus, which is our largest campus. We are a Catholic Vincentian Metropolitan Global Institution, so that's the 4 core identities of St. John's. As back to our locations, our little subway map, if you've never been to New York or if you're not too familiar with New York, the little St. John's in red represents all the areas that we're in. So as I just mentioned, Queens is our largest, where you see on this little subway map with my little mouse. Then a little smaller here in Manhattan, Lower Manhattan is our Manhattan campus. And then down here in Staten Island, we have another campus as well. And then we also have campuses overseas located in Rome, Paris, and Limerick, Ireland. Some of our key numbers, we have just over 17,000 students. We have 47 different states represented, as well as 123 different countries. So there's a lot of different students coming from many, many different places. We do have a good amount of students from California as well. We have a 17-to-1 student to faculty ratio, so your classroom sizes are pretty manageable. We have 17 Division I sports teams in the Big East Conference, and we have over 180 different organizations on campus. And that does include Greek life, because I do get that question pretty often. This is just a little quick breakdown of the colleges within our university. So you have the College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences, we have our College of Professional Studies, our College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, School of Education, and last but not least, our Peter J. Tobin College of Business. For our honors program, there isn't a separate application. So if you meet the criteria for whatever year you're applying, you will automatically be notified if you are in the honors program. And if you do decide to enroll at St. John's, you have opportunity to opt in or opt out of the program. And in terms of multiple dual degree options, there's a couple options that we have available. We have MBAs, for example. We do have the 3+3 program for JD as well. And we also have education in the 5-year programs. But there's a lot more other programs, just some examples of that. Living on campus. So we do have a 110-acre campus, even though we're in New York City. So I know there's a little cliche that if you think about New York, it's just all concrete jungle, but there is some greenery in New York, believe it or not. So this is our Queens campus again, and this is the Residence Village. So in terms of the style of living, we're mostly suite style. So you walk through your suite door, you have 2 rooms at each end, single, double, or triple room, and a bathroom. You have a living room in the middle, and the opposite end, you have the same thing. So 2 more rooms and another bathroom as well. And then the other style of living we have is traditional, which is only 1 building. So you walk in through your door, you have your immediate room, and there's a bathroom in between with 2 sinks and a shower, and then it leads to another room. That is our traditional style. Some of the key numbers, last year we had 89% employment rate after graduation. We typically hover around 94. We had a little dip with the pandemic, but the last 5 or 6 years have been around 94%. And I anticipate we'll be back at that. But you can see the different employers, different internship partners that we have. The location definitely helps out with that. You can see the wide range of places students have been, whether it's healthcare, whether it's in sports, whether it's in media, et cetera, and criminal justice. I mean, there's a couple of different areas as well. So many different opportunities available. In terms of the application process for us, we are free to apply on the Common App as well as our own application. We have early decision, early action, and early admission. So early decision, November 15th, early action, December 1st. After December 1st, we go into early admissions. So whenever you apply, whenever I get to your application, essentially is when I'll read it. After that, we have pharmacy and biooptometry. Those are the only 2 programs that have a deadline of February 1st. Every other program is open-ended. In terms of what to submit, we did your transcripts. We are test optional for most of our majors, but if you do want to submit test scores, the average is around 1,200 SAT and a 25 average on the ACT. For essay, it is not required if you're submitting test scores. However, if you are applying test optional, the essay is required. This is just a list of some of our scholarships. Merit scholarships are automatically considered when you're applying. They range this year from about 11,000 to 33,000. And we have a couple others that you automatically qualify for as well. So if you go to a Catholic high school, the service award, if your parent's a firefighter, police officer, or a veteran, is also automatic as well. And they'll ask you that question on the application. And the ones you see in red are programs and scholarship programs that we have for you to apply for separately from the admissions application. And the tuition for that coming year is $46,000 per year. And then room and board will add another $18,000. I forgot to mention, we don't require housing. So if you don't have to live on campus if you don't want to, but if you do want to live on campus, it is guaranteed. So just a little note there. And if you ever find yourself in New York anytime soon, we have an open house coming up November 13th, but we also have visits all year round. So if you ever want to visit, you can go to our visit page or reach out to me and I'll be able to set up a visit. But with that being said, I'll pass it on. And hope you guys enjoy the rest of the night.
Awesome, thank you. And so much great information shared by all our representatives. So thank you. We do have some time left. So at this time, we're going to now pivot into our Q&A portion of the session. I invite all our representatives at this time to go ahead and turn on their cameras to get ready to unmute themselves. We'll go ahead and get started with our first question here, which is, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process? What advice would you give someone going through the college search process? And we'll go ahead and get started in the same order in which you all presented it.
All right, I would say my biggest piece of advice is to get connected with as many people on campus as you can. So obviously your admissions counselor is always here for you, and they can help facilitate some other connections at most institutions. If you want to talk to faculty or students, especially if you're coming for a campus visit, usually a lot of times other folks are available. So definitely take advantage of a lot of the different resources on campus as you're making your decision to really get a feel for what campus life is like.
My advice is going to be, one, to take a breath. I know it's a stressful time. You guys are doing this for the first time. If your seniors are right in kind of the thick of that. I always encourage students to breathe. I know it's a big decision, but it's something you'll make with all the information present, and it will be okay. Secondly, I always like to advise students to ask a lot of questions. We can't know what's going on in your mind. The only way we're going to be able to help you as admissions counselors, as your friends, is when you ask us those questions. I know personally, I love responding to students' emails. That face-to-face personal interaction is why I became an admissions counselor in the first place. So use admissions counselors to your advantage. Use Google as your friend. Ask those questions. It'll make that whole process a little bit less scary.
I would say my advice for you right now is to look at colleges that might not be in your comfort zone. Just because you haven't heard of a college doesn't mean it might not be a great fit for you. There are so many colleges in state, out of state. I know there are a lot of options, but it's always good to get as much information as you can and then make an educated choice that way.
My advice is always visit colleges, whether that's now during your college application process or once you're admitted to that particular college or university. Take the time to visit that college. Once you're there, you're really going to get the feel of the place, the vibe. You're going to see if it's really somewhere where you see yourself, and not only the college, but also the area as well. So take the time to visit, or even do a virtual visit. A lot of us are still offering virtual opportunities right now. So take advantage of that and do a virtual tour, and hopefully that'll help you, make your decision in the future.
My advice would be not to let the cost of attendance be the reason why you do not apply to an institution. I always compare the prices of colleges and universities like going into a car dealership and looking at the sticker price. No one ever pays what's really on the sticker price of a vehicle. So remember that we're all going to offer you different financial aid packages, merit scholarship, need-based aid, and so that you'll have a time to really gather all that information and speak with your family's legal guardian to make the decision. So you're always in control, and you do not need to let the cost of attendance be the reason why you decide not to participate or enroll at an institution. Go out there and submit your application and see what happens.
My biggest piece of advice would be make time your friend and not your best friend and not your enemy, because you guys have all the time in the world, especially if you're proactive. If you're here right now, you're doing a great job. So getting the information, applying early. I always personally recommend early action for most schools, because it gives you time to hear back quicker. You have more time to do all your research and visiting, speaking to students on our campuses, speaking to professors, and it gives you more of a comfortable decision. We're, as a Rolling Admissions school, and I'm sure other counselors can definitely feel what I'm saying. Like you can apply a little bit later, but we do feel you're kind of stressed at that time, and we want to help you out. Time is your best friend until it becomes your enemy. So definitely, give yourself time. It is a huge decision. So, don't be overwhelmed. Like, we don't bite. We're here for you. Just reach out to us and, give yourself time to visit, do your research, and then you'll know when you know. I think we all do. So that time will definitely help out with that.
Awesome, thank you. And what a great way to end. Great question, or great advice, great tips and suggestions to keep in mind, especially for those who are currently in the thick of it of college application. So again, thank you so much to our representatives for being here, for sharing great advice and great information about your respective institution. And thank you to each of you for joining us. We have now reached the conclusion of this session. As we close, will be a very quick 5-question survey that will appear on your browser. If you don't mind taking a moment to fill that out for us, your feedback is extremely helpful. This is one of many college presentations being offered, so feel free to check the schedule on the website for more. And lastly, this session is being recorded and will be available at strivescan.com/COSI. Again, thank you all and have a great night.